Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Amy Lee. Once again, we are here at our monthly webinar. But today we are going to do something a little bit different, and we have this more of a podcast setup because from our previous podcast that we done in Rancho Cucamonga, we got a lot of great feedback on just really the frequently asked questions that we get throughout the years. And frankly, there are a lot of questions. We have also accumulated a lot of commonly asked questions and topics and concerns of our existing clients and patients within our 31 clinics, which I think would be very valuable to the audience today. And hopefully we have some of our Lindora staff members as well, because I think this is great learning for everybody. Now, I do have Christy here today, who would be my partner in crime, just really having this conversation around all the things that we have kind of collected throughout the many months and really years in our practice of obesity medicine and weight management. Christy here is actually head of education and sales. So she has a lot of exposure in the mindset of our clients, especially for the fact that many years ago, she was actually a general manager in San Clemente when I first met her. And she was spunky. She just knows all her clients, literally everyone that walks in. She literally knows everyone's story, and which is super important for us, as a team. So now she works in corporate and educating all our staff and leaders in each of our clinics to really, how to think about our programs, how to talk about efficacy and weight loss, and how to actually really rethink your journey and be able to utilize it to the optimal level and get the most success out of everything that you do. So I guess for the next 50-ish minutes, we will go through many topics and questions, and Christy here will be so-called my moderator and to keep me in line, because I do tend to go tangent and go a little crazy. So yeah, let's get started.
All right, thank you. So Dr. Lee, we've been doing, personalized weight loss programs and series for over 50 years. What are some of the efficacy that we're seeing, some of the data that we've collected just based on our 10-week long weight loss programs?
Yeah, so, in Lindora, we've been around for 53 years. First clinic was built out in 1971, which is crazy. I think I wasn't even born yet.
Exactly.
But the initial founder really just hit the key element of what is important and what is the demand at the time, which is basically people who are experiencing this abnormal weight gain or just really hitting a roadblock with the weight that they gain from childbirth, whatever the stages are and reasons are. So really, weight management and education had always been our bread and butter. And we have created, many different various types of diet regimens throughout the 53 years. But the most recent and the most stable, I would say, regimen that we stuck with in the past 20 years is what we call the ketogenic based regimen. Now, I want to also share with everyone that ketogenic diet or ketosis is not a one diet, regimen. There are actually many different variations of a ketogenic diet. And we do practice a lean protein, low net carb type. And this is why there is a formula to it. There is a protocol that we abide by, but it could be as short as 4 weeks, 6 weeks to even 10 weeks. But I think most of our clients actually do sign up for the 10 weeks, probably from their experience as well. And this is our bread and butter: education, accountability, and just everything around your lifestyle. The medication piece really came into the picture maybe in the 90s and on, and now we're obviously benefiting from all the big successes of the GLP-1s as well. So the efficacy when it comes to just a purely 10-week weight loss program with no use of medication is that we found that people can lose up to 18 to 24 pounds every 10 weeks. So on average, it's about 20 pounds every 10 weeks, which is about 2 pounds per week. And by definition, that is considered to be what we call rapid weight loss. People probably want to lose more than 2 pounds a week at times, but the safest way to do it is really keeping it around 1 to 2 pounds and being medically monitored.
Right. And then you were talking about how in the 90s, we kind of introduced some medications that help with these personalized wellness programs. And certainly today, we've seen a huge influx of medications. Can you talk to us about what those medications are, especially the difference between the ones that we've been using for 40 plus years and the brand new ones that we're seeing now?
Yeah, medication, the evolution of medication has been kind of like my passion and interest because each of the medicines that came into the picture really does tell a story about that time era as well. And I'm sure some of you in the audience probably heard of fen-phen. Fen-phen actually is connected to a really interesting kind of background and story as well. For example, fen-phen back in the 70s, they were actually two different medications. One of which is called fenfluramine, the other one is called phentermine. There is unapproved use or official use of these two medicines together, and providers and doctors were basically prescribing two medicines to a potential patient, and they went ahead and just used it themselves. So it was never FDA approved as a combination medication, but people call it fen-phen because everyone's on these two medicines all the time. The weight loss efficacy then was powerful. I mean, we're talking about having nothing in the marketplace to something that was helping you lose 5 to 10% of your weight loss, your weight. But we're also talking about these are stimulants too. So there is some level of potential danger and adverse reaction that would tie with it. It was then in the 90s when they figured out that this combination does have a effect of causing heart conditions. So at that time, they actually pulled one of the two medicines off the market, so which is fenfluramine. They took fenfluramine off, it was pulled off the market, and no one can sell that medication. So we still stuck with phentermine. So phentermine is still used to this day. We still have about, I would say, 10 to 15% of our patient population at Lindora in our 31 clinics that are actually still using this old generation or first generation medication, which is considered a stimulant, called phentermine, as well as diethylpropion. Super cheap in the marketplace because now there are probably 6 to 7 different generic forms of this class of medication. But the weight loss efficacy for that class, it's about 5 to 7%. So meaning if you did nothing different and you took it every day, you can lose about 5 to 7%, which is significant in the medical community because what we have done, in the many years of nutrition medicine research is that when you can lose as little as 5% of your weight, you could actually cure some of your underlying conditions like hypertension, dyslipidemia, or even prediabetes or diabetes. And so this is why this is a medically meaningful number that we always operate off. So we hear a lot about, 5%. But then many years later, now we have things like Contrary, which is combination pill between naltrexone and Wellbutrin. And what it does is it's not a stimulant, but it is a very nice combination that help you kind of curb the appetite as well. The weight loss efficacy for that class of medicine is about 7 to 11%. So there's like a range to it. It costs a little bit more. It's a couple $100 per month if your insurance don't pay for it. And then moving forward, now we have the whole GLP-1 class. And everyone I'm sure have heard of semaglutide, which have shown the weight loss efficacy of about 15 to 16% in about 70 weeks of time when you're on it, as well as something called tirzepatide, which could help someone lose as many as 20% plus in that same time duration. So we're talking about medications that are basically replacing all the old generation for first line, right? But the cost obviously also speaks for itself. It's much more expensive.
And so tirzepatide and semaglutide aren't considered stimulants?
Correct. Yeah, of all the FDA-approved medications, semaglutide, tirzepatide, which are considered what we call GLP-1s or GIP, those are not stimulants.
Cool. Okay. And then, so will you talk to us a little bit about the efficacy and what we're seeing with our data with clients that are on just our weight loss programs, the combination of the medication and the weight loss program, and maybe, what were like the long-term effects of that?
Yeah, very good. That's a great question because, we offer all kinds of stuff, right?
Exactly.
All kinds of programs. And I think sometimes our staff gets a little overwhelmed by all the memberships and add-ons and potential things that we can keep, kind of add on top of each other. But at the end of the day, it really just comes down to our clients and what they are able to afford. We know that every 10 weeks of weight loss with us, you can lose up to about 20 pounds-ish average. So you think about that. All right, if I do nothing different and with no medications and come in on a daily basis, talk to a nurse, get my vitamin injectables, just get taught, the protocol and the formula of how we do things at Lindora, I could lose 20 pounds in 10 weeks. But the question is, how many pounds do you have to lose? Do you have to lose only 20 pounds, 60 pounds, or over 100 pounds? And how much time and commitment are you willing to undergo, right? It costs money, obviously, to put a program in place. And then on top of that, the medication in itself could help you add on to that weight loss, of course. So really with the medication piece, let's just say 10-week weight loss program by itself is 20 pounds in 10 weeks. And those same 10 weeks, if you add on a medication, you're still going through what we call titration stage. It's just 10 weeks is 2.5 months basically, right? So you're not really at therapeutic dose when you're on 10 weeks of these medications. So therefore, the weight loss is not going to be 20%. It might be an additional maybe 5 to 6% on top of the 20 pounds that you're about to lose. So you have to be mindful of that too. In order for you to really maximize and get that 20% weight loss, you do have to stay on for about 70 weeks. So 70 weeks for a lot of people sounds really long.
Yeah.
But obesity is a chronic disease, and it's not something that you can just hit it with a 10-week program and medication use for 10 weeks and walk away. There's a lot of things that you must do to maintain that weight loss. And this is what makes this conversation kind of fun and interesting, because we don't talk about it enough.
Right.
And I don't think we see the weight loss maintenance as a thing that, is part of a weight loss program. But in reality, I think is the toughest part of a program.
I agree. And I also think it's kind of the mindset, like you go in wanting to lose a certain amount of weight, you get there, and then you kind of just think that you've accomplished this and you're good to go. And that's such a vicious cycle that we see with so many of our clients, is if they do just kind of fall off the wagon, so to speak, and stop visiting us, then
you were one of our general managers in one of the clinics, right? And so you probably have very close connection to that client who has lost their, let's just say, the goal weight 30 pounds.
Right.
They always tell you, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, oh, I'm done with this program because I've hit my goal weight. Thank you very much, Christy. Sign me off. I'm out. I'm not coming back next week. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, it was always such a, it was a struggle to have that conversation, because, you want to celebrate that win and they're feeling so good about themselves. And, you really just need to shift that mindset about it being, a lifelong wellness journey and not just a short-term weight loss journey. So I think that's the conversations that we need to have with our clients, and really put that, perspective in and show them how to live a lifetime of maintenance. And it takes effort every single day, every single day.
Out of the, let's just say for every 10 that actually hit their goal weight and then leave the program, how many of them actually come back?
Oh,
that you remember?
I would say 80%.
Yeah. It's just a matter of time span, right?
Within 6 to 8 months.
Yep.
Seeing back.
They always return. And look, in our business, a client who's a restarter is actually to us part of our revenue stream. Right. What does that mean? Does that mean our program failed that client? No. I feel like this is like a natural human psychological and physiological reaction to someone hitting a goal weight.
Right.
They just feel that, hey, look, I can do it myself. You get the confidence, you lost your weight, you figured out the system. All right, I can do it myself.
Right, we taught them everything.
Exactly. So, but the missing piece here, I think, which is the icing on the cake here, and what really keeps us in business, is that face-to-face accountability visit with our nurses. And as you know, some people might find it trivial and kind of silly, like, I'm not going to go in and check in 4 or 5 times this week. Like, I don't want to act like I'm a child checking in with a parent. But in reality, we have so many things that happen in our lives. Sometimes we just need that little reminder. On the cell phone, it's just like a little ping, right? But in reality, sometimes we just need to have some responsibility of, all right, we have to go in to the clinic, check in, and this check-in could be as short as 25 seconds, right? Yes. But the fact is that 25 seconds could be a very powerful drive for someone to stay compliant or fall off the wagon.
Right.
And I think that's
I don't even think you realize, if you are accidentally gaining weight back, 1-2 pounds, it's 5-10 come on really quick accidentally. So if you're seeing someone at least on a weekly basis, popping on that scale, person to person, you're looking at them and you're noticing your weight in real life, you're not, kind of kidding yourself.
Exactly.
You're gonna see it happen.
Exactly. I feel like this is a perfect example. I think we all have like electric cars nowadays, or just cars in general. There's like a feature in your car where if you deviate and hit the white line, right, it's just the whole car buzzes and create that really annoying voice. Guess what? We're that.
Yeah. Don't veer. We're not gonna let you veer.
Exactly. And but weight loss maintenance in itself, it is truly, and I've been doing this, I've been in this business now for almost 20 years. I got into weight management the moment I graduated from all my training. So this is like my cup of tea. I've seen a lot of, clients and patients in my career. And I've heard a lot of excuses and a lot of reasons on why they regained the weight. But at the end of the day, it's all raw data for us. In every weight loss program, it could be Weight Watchers, or back in the day it was Jenny Craig, or Lindora, medical weight loss, or even surgical weight loss. We all have weight regain data. So it's a true phenomenon. It's real, it's out there. So even if you go through the motion of, all right, I'm now regaining some of this weight back, guess what? It's actually pretty normal.
Right, exactly. It's bound to happen. And that's why, again, these maintenance programs and sticking with someone, having that form of accountability, a real life person, is so key to our long-term success and staying in that state of wellness. I mean, I literally go into a clinic once a week. I get a skinny shot up on the scale. Like it's something I try for, it's valid effort and it's going to keep me in this, this state. In terms of compliance, when we're talking about our maintenance programs and how we keep people at the healthy weight, what are we seeing, when people actually drop off? How often do we need to see them? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, there are many reasons, many stories, many reasons on why people don't come back. But I think the most common, when someone finishes, in internal data, at Lindora, I would say someone who is in what we call the Wellness Unlimited program, where they can activate as many of the 10-week weight loss program throughout the year. On average, only about 3.2 weeks or 3.2 cycles are activated. So people really don't activate all 5 programs within the year, because truly we have a lot happening in our lives. We work, we go on vacation, and sometimes we just skip out when we come in to visit. So us will activate about 3 10-week weight loss program in a year. And when they do, they oftentimes lose 50 plus pounds or more. Right? That's great success. Now, those times, truly, I want people to have the mindset that, hey, don't cancel and don't just stop coming in. You can, you don't have to come in as frequently, but definitely put us in your alarm clock and our calendar, and just as a reminder to come in at least once a week. I think even once a week, there's a huge value. Huge. And we make it pretty fun to come in. Every time you come in, we poke you with a needle, right?
Yeah, I love that. Who doesn't love that?
Right. And yes, we weigh you just to kind of keep you in line, like, that little feature in the car. But there's huge value in that, because sometimes we need those reminders. I also would recommend that people are on top of their body composition measurement.
Right.
This is, a little bit more of a sophisticated technology compared to the regular scale. It tells me, the provider and the nurses, exactly what you're made up of, which to me is actually way more important than your total absolute weight, and just really in the process of aging, for example, we actually end up losing muscle mass just naturally as we grow older. So I'm 47 now. I would say if I actually compared all my body composition as of 10 years ago, it's probably a little bit lower, or at least at the same number. I'm not building new. I'm definitely not a bodybuilder, right? But I know, I'm very aware that every year, maybe ounces would be gone if I do nothing different.
Right.
So it's always nice to just using those visits as an opportunity to be more self-aware of your basic foundational health. And I want people to see it as come in for wellness and just overall understanding of where you're at, and not so much see us as, oh, this is the diet center. If I walked in, that means I'm on a diet.
Right.
We have a lot of clients who come in for their vitamin injectables, or maybe just checking in to buy a product or supplements. And those are classically the ones that actually use our program even when they're not actively losing weight, because they believe that this is the culture and lifestyle that they want to continue on practicing. And this is probably why we've been around for 53 years. We have evolved in all product lines, supplements, and obviously the weight management piece. We now have so many more in the toolbox to offer, which is pretty exciting.
Exactly. So talking about the GLP-1s with maintenance and kind of keeping them weight off, obviously the GLP-1s we're seeing a ton of success with weight loss and on a lot quicker of a pace. So is this something that, you're staying on a certain dose for a long time, or we're staying on medication forever? What's the maintenance plan with those?
Yeah, so the great thing about this class of medicine with the GLP-1s is that you can use it forever. It is actually made for long-term use. It was first actually created maybe 20 plus years ago as a class of medicine to treat diabetes. And it just happens that they found that, hey, look, these patients with diabetes are also losing a very significant amount of weight
Right.
with little side effects. So this is why they kind of evolved into weight management class, which is awesome. But at the same time, it is made for long-term use because it's not a stimulant. It doesn't accumulate in your body long enough to cause any toxicity whatsoever. And so you're at that point where you have a tool that you could use forever. Now, we do have a handful of clients, and I'll be honest, that have gotten so slim on this
Right.
medication class where I have to talk them out of basically getting off the medication. And those are the people, I would say, the total exception to the rule, right? Those are the people who can't be on it forever. And in our program, we actually created a maintenance dose, which is half the dose at like almost half the cost. Because truly, not everyone needs to be at the highest dose for anything. And this is how medications are made. We titrate things up, we can titrate things down, we can keep you on a very low dose. And this is also why it should be medically monitored, right? If you do, let's just say some people do actually utilize some of the online companies and there is no closer monitoring. Those are the people that are getting in trouble with a lot of the adverse reaction and side effects that they couldn't control by themselves at home. Because they have no clue what is happening to them. Those are the scary stories I probably hear about all the time. But in our business, we actually accommodate various doses. I got clients who's on microdose.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that because less is more. Who said that you can't use the same little small dose and get the same benefit and weight loss outcomes compared to those that are on a high dose?
Right. And as a chief medical officer, you're always looking at the data that's coming in. You're always looking at our client base and results. What are we seeing with weight regain when we stop GLP-1s?
Yeah, so the national data does show that once you stop a GLP-1, specifically like semaglutide, for example, it's that people start regaining some of their weight about 6 months out.
Right. And that's just because they've made no lifestyle changes?
That's the hard part to measure. Are they truly not following your inviting, or are they where their appetite is no longer suppressed as strongly as it was when they were on medication, right? And so everyone's so different in that sense. Like, what's hunger? What's craving? Like, what are the urges that you're feeling compared to your neighbor here? So it's different for everybody, but I would say the weight regain portion is something that it's not absolute either, because only 60% of those started regaining some of the weight, if not all. So what's happening to the 40%?
Yeah.
Are they truly just, feeling all the great benefits of the weight loss, where that became a positive reinforcement for them to keep eating better and moving their bodies, managing their stress and sleeping more? That's really the kind of question of the day. And we are constantly, reminding our clients, look, a majority of the people nationally do regain their weight. Do you rather be in the 40% bucket or the 60% bucket? Guess what? We have all the tools for the 40%.
Right. And so for our maintenance program, we kind of talked about the purpose. Will you walk us through what really that looks like and make you a perfect patient in maintenance?
Yeah, so our membership programs are usually set up in an annual range of time. Right? So we sign up for an annual membership. So a lot of people think, oh my gosh, you're locking me in. This is really tough. Like, I don't want to commit to anything. But in reality, there is actually a lot of data and information on psychology and habit forming behaviors. It actually takes a human being 1 solid year to change one behavior. And it could be any behavior, maybe walking more. Guess what? If you don't do it for a solid year, then you haven't hit that behavior. Dieting is no different, right? Eating differently, being more mindful about your life, adding meditation into your day and whatnot. It takes a year. So if you only do it for 2 months of the year, you haven't formed that habit. So this is why our membership is locked. It kind of like locks you in for the year, because we're trying to really kind of just take it seriously. Like, hey, look, you don't need a solid year. Let's just wait in your 10-week program, maybe several 10-week weight loss programs, and then spend the rest of your months doing maintenance. What does maintenance mean? And at Lindora, it means come in, check in with us at least once a week. We weigh you. We do body composition once a month because you paid for it in your membership already. Keep track of all your data. And I think nowadays we're so data driven. We love seeing numbers, right? That's why a lot of people have wearables, little rings, little bracelets and whatnot. We don't have that yet, but they will. But it's to come in to collect data, one, and be a reminder for you that we are still here in case you do fall off the wagon for whatever reason, or you get into trouble of regaining that weight slowly. Guess what? You can come back and reactivate whatever weight loss program you need. But it's also it's our way of saying form the habit of coming in to a safe space. And so when it does happen, you're not deep in the dark, right? Exactly. And what I'm sure you saw a lot of clients back in the day where they gained 40 pounds plus. They lost maybe 60, but it took them 40 pounds into it to come back. But why? Why not come back when you were 10 pounds?
Right. I know.
Over, right? So we're trying to rescue you before it's too late.
Exactly. And then with our maintenance programs for GLP-1s, tirzepatide and semaglutide is so it's a lower dose.
Mhm.
And are they coming? Does that mean they come in less often for that dose? Is it the same cadence?
It's just a lower dose. You still come in once a week because the once a week dosing actually comes down to the half-life of that ingredient. So, when this chemical was made, they tested it out. How long does it last in your body before it starts breaking down to half of the concentration? Right. So 7 days is it. So this is why we follow and abide by the, prescribing information that we are given from the pharmaceuticals and Kappa pharmacies. So 7-day half-life. So that's why you have to come in once a week. However, we do have clients that says like, can I do once every couple of weeks, and or can I take a syringe home because it's inconvenient for me to come in? We do all that. We accommodate.
I think so too.
It's not a lot of clients, but we do accommodate.
I think it sets us apart a lot too. We make it's all so individualized and personalized, even though it's such a wide blanket of the medicine we're practicing. But it really remains individualized. What you were saying earlier about, why we do the long-term memberships reminded me that, so before 2018, we did not have memberships long-term. We did, right. 10-week-long weight loss programs, called them PIP programs, and we had great data that showed amazing weight loss. And then, within 4, 6, 8 months, we saw the same exact clients over and over again. So they were buying, 2 or 3 programs a year, and it was just kind of this vicious cycle. So I do think that our new, and I believe that you're the pioneer behind this, behind the long-term memberships, is why we're doing this, is for the security maintenance. I always say to the clients coming in, like, you're here now at the Wellness Unlimited because you've got 50 pounds to lose. My goal is to get you at maintenance and keep you here for life. Like, and I'm not just trying to money grab. It is important that you stay in maintenance because that's what's going to keep you healthy. It's a lifetime of wellness and health, not a lifetime of being head of weight loss clinics.
For sure. Yeah, exactly. Well said. But at the end of the day, I think the client just needs to understand that this is not a one-off condition.
Yeah.
It's not like you scratch your knee and you make it stop bleeding, exactly. And then you're healed. It's like it's your body, right? It's every cell in your body that's talking to you and giving you that thing about, hey, you should eat like that. Maybe you shouldn't exercise. Maybe you're just too stressed out. Don't worry, you don't want to sleep. Those are the things that we try to kind of incorporate in our teaching, from our nurses to our clients, that, hey, look, you're not alone. And these are struggles that people go through every single day. Everyone has their own stories, which makes this job even more interesting, right? I learn more about people's behavior and habits at home and lifestyle and the quirkiness of everyone's lives. If you think you're super stressed out as an individual, I can probably name off 20 other stories, right. Of others that have a worse lifestyle. But at the end of the day, you're not alone. And it's not like, we've been doing this for so long. We kind of know, we hear it all the time. Now the question is, all right, when you come in with a problem that is weight related, do I have the tools to help you get to your goal weight or, accomplishing a goal that you're set out to do by paying us money, obviously. And we are the specialists in the field. We're not your primary care. I'm not anyone's primary care. And there's not many of us out in the industry, with the obesity medicine practice and abiding by the protocols and utilizing only specialty meds as one of the many tools in the toolbox. And so it's super important for you to understand that as well. I hate to, sometimes people ask, hey, who are your competitors? I'm like, there's no competition. But how about the online companies? They're online companies where they leverage medications with no backing of education on nutrition.
Exactly.
Right? And they're not face-to-face engagement. They're all online. we looked into data on, possibly opening an online portal, right? But number doesn't add up. The engagement is not high and the stickiness is not high either. So why spend millions of dollars on a platform that is not going to be a huge win for us? We stick with what we know. We stick with what we know, which is the face to face. And will we ever have a telehealth, option? Perhaps. But right now, I really rather just fine tune all my clinics, in Southern California, make sure that we're on point. And before we start spreading and opening up other services, for sure.
So in closing, I want you to kind of give Dr. Lee's best advice to all of those who have lost the weight, are motivated, they want to celebrate that win and stay in this supreme healthy state. So if you lost the weight, what is your best advice to those?
Oh my gosh, so many things. Sometimes I do miss seeing clients myself.
Too.
Because then, but then I would probably take like 3 hours per client. It's just not good for business apparently. I do feel that everyone needs to have a realistic kind of standard and goal. What are you trying to achieve in life? What are you trying to get at? So, for people, oftentimes, hey, I want to lose 40 pounds because I want to fit in a dress. To me, that's not realistic, right? Versus I want to live healthier so I can actually watch my kids grow up. To me, that's realistic because there's longevity to it and you're held accountable because you're watching your kids grow up. And of course, hiking up some steps at the park and you're huffing and puffing also reminds you of that, which happened to me often, more often than not. But truly know your motivation, know your why of why you're doing what you're doing to make it meaningful. One thing that I really do love, and some people think I'm kind of cheesy and kind of trivial about it, is that little daily action planner that we have in our business. It's super valuable.
It is.
A lot of our clients are like, well, why don't you turn it into an app? I have my phone app here. I'm like, you can use your app, use whatever way you want. But the idea of journaling in one way or the other is so super powerful. And for me, I've been journaling, not really writing things down, but just like to do things, it just keeps me in line. And also sometimes I write down all my exercise that I have done for the week or for the month.
You feel accomplished.
Yeah, exactly. And, I could do it all on my app too. But for me, for some reason, it's like my personal Bible that I haul around. So the two things that I don't want to lose in my purse is my cell phone and my journal. I can care less about my credit card, my insurance card, or my Costco card. It can all disappear. It wouldn't even faze me. Oh man, but if that journal is gone, it's as important to me as my phone. Why? Because it really truly keeps me organized for the day. And for a lot of our clients, it's the food and the drinks and the exercise and the supplements that they're taking at Lindora that kind of helps them organize like what is happening. Because organization is also part of control. Control equals someone, that's everyone's like component to life in general. Most of our clients, and you probably would agree with me, when they start gaining weight and feeling out of control, that's when they look for services like ours. They're knocking at our door saying, please help me. Because frankly, you just lost control. But you lost control for months and years. Right. So kind of see that journaling, the process of journaling as a concept. And if you haven't tried it already, definitely do it with your next weight loss journey. Because to me, it just helps a lot more as a kind of hands-on tool. We have our own version. It's called a daily action planner. It's a dummy-proof book. We literally is color-coded. We got the food list. We have even information on supplements that we sell, like why are you actually taking this stuff in case you forgot, and lines of where you put in your proteins, your net carbs. It's literally homework. But I think people feel accomplished when they finish a page as a day and they see the outcome, which is weight loss.
Exactly.
Right. And so journaling, having a purpose, and of course, finding the right partner to do this. For some of you, we may not be your right partner. Maybe you think our food just doesn't taste right. Or maybe you don't like the idea of having to come in so often. But the fact is, if you haven't tried us, then it's really hard for you to not understand like the value of what we bring to the table. And again, we've been around for 53 years versus a lot of these diet programs online have been around for maybe 3 months to 3 years. And so with that, I think it speaks for itself. We've been in the community. If you walk down a street in Irvine and ask anyone, you know what Lindora is? And I would say 6 out of 10 times they're like, oh yeah, it's that, diet center. But we're more than that now. I mean, what else do we have now, Christy?
Our whole suite of services. So we've got IV therapy, we've got intramuscular wellness injections, vitamins, we've got Zerona, fat contouring, there's something for everyone. That's what I keep wanting to preach, is that it's not just weight loss. It used to be for a second there, but it's so much more than that. And we are so focused on long-term longevity and overall health. And I think that's kind of where we've pivoted as a company and the kind of like where like our focus is.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, when I first started 8.5 years ago, we were just weight management and a couple of machines for body contouring. But strategically, the idea is that we have a bucket of clients at that age group that are going to age out, right? Or we have youngins or millennials that are about to age into our bucket, but yet we ignore them because we don't have the service that connects to them. And so this is why we expanded our services, because we want to keep our existing clients happy and give them more reasons to keep coming in during their maintenance, right? That's one. And two is to bring in the younger crowd, because childhood obesity is literally another
it's an epidemic
thing that is happening right now as we speak, not just in the United States, but in every country that we speak of. So, we shouldn't be shying away from pediatrics at all. Not that many medications to offer, but definitely I think the accountability visits and even the conversation and the face-to-face interaction is super valuable.
Yeah, the education.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, anyone interested in a maintenance program or, wanting to lose weight, feel better, become their best self, we are absolutely here for you. We've got, 30 locations in Southern California. We'd love to hear from you. Dr. Lee will be there right by your side throughout your entire process, and we'd love to see you. Thanks, Dr. Lee.
Thank you very much for your time.
Bye, guys.